So your flush door, you're going to paint it, and as I said, make sure you've got enough time. I'm going to be spending, say, 20, maybe 30 minutes on this, so just be aware if you are stood up, 20 or 30 minutes, because I'm going to be talking as well. So, because I'm going to explain everything. So we're using an oil-based paint. Okay, we use that oil-based paint on the doors. You'll need some paper, a dust sheet, a dust brush, your paint. Now it's going to be undercoat to start off with, and that needs to be thinned with white spirit, and a rag. Okay, what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to get a dust brush, but I just want to draw your attention to some of these brushes. They're starting to get paint on. You should never have paint on your dust brush, okay? If you're dusting and near wet paint, you're going to damage them. Alright, so these are quite new but looking a bit damaged, they've all got paint on. So please, make sure you're not dusting near wet paint. All your dusting should be done prior to when you paint in. Get all that dust. This bit here was filled. There's loads of dust on there. Give it a really good dust, because if you spend ages wet and drying it, you don't want to get that dust then in your paint. Now, quite often when you've dusted off, you go like that with your hand, you still get some on your hand. So I've just got this rag, and I'm just going to take them excess bits. There is a proper cloth we can use for this, and it's called a tack cloth. And what that does, it takes all the bits. See, that's how much dust is still left on the surface. So if it's on the surface, that's going to go into your paint.
Are you asking if you use water with that, or is it just dry?
Just dry. Just dry, yeah. Just to take off the excess dust. Yeah, just to get rid of the dust. So that's all ready now. There's no dust on that. It's all gone. I need to protect the floor just with some scrap wallpaper. Okay, just want to be as wide as the door. Make sure it's tucked underneath. Do it so it's facing down, a bit like when we said about wallpaper and pasteboard. Make sure it's facing down so it doesn't curl up. Then, because obviously you don't just want to sort of protect that area, you're going to put your dust sheet down as well. And have that just a little bit away. So if I do get any drips, it'll go on there. But if I stand on any of them drips, I won't put it on the floor. Alright. So, when you put paint back, people, make sure you wipe it better than that. Okay? It's a little bit too much in there. Make sure you wipe it out really well, because they won't dry. So when I finish with this one, I will work it out really well. Okay. You'll have magnolia. It's going to be a magnolia gloss. The undercoat is called off-white. Okay. So I'm just going to wipe my brush in to start off with. I've thinned this. Just put a capful of white spirit in. And that's to eliminate what?
The thickness of it, innit?
Thickness, which is going to then eliminate brush marks. Yeah. So it's nice and thin. Never thin your gloss. Don't thin many other paints, but always thin your undercoat. Okay. So I'm going to use a 2-inch brush for this. I would probably use a 3-inch generally, but I think maybe you'll maybe find that difficult because it's a lot bigger than what you're used to. On site, you'd maybe use a roller and then lay it off. Yeah. But here, I'm going to show you the professional way of doing a door. The first thing you want to do is think about this door, what you're going to do. First thing you've got to do in your head is split it into sections. So I'm going to imagine, split it right down the middle, and I'm splitting it into sections like that. So I'm going to do like a square at a time. So we'll start this side. So start along the top, don't come down, because what happens when I come down is we get loads of paint and it starts to run. Make sort of like an imaginary square. Okay, but don't go down the middle. And reload the brush, and then using what's called a cross hatch method. spread it out. This is the thing with oil-based. With water-based that you're used to using, you can just leave it like that and it just flows out. But with oil it doesn't. So spread it out even. Lay it off horizontally, so you're getting rid of all that crisscross. And then lay it off vertically, but just with the tip of your brush. If you found that you've not been able to lay it off, it's maybe started to set, and you maybe need to put a little bit more pressure on. Really warm, and it's this radiator. Right, first bit, don't worry, it's not covering, it's not going to. Second one, just the same as the first. Like that. Reload. And then I'm going to spread all the paint I've got in this brush. Don't put too much on because you'll get what? Runs, definitely. Proper, when I'm using the brush, I'm proper doing that. I'm not just tickling it, I'm proper spreading it out. That bit that's coming out there is in the water right through it. Then what I've got to do, so that I don't get an edge, I've got to lay that off horizontally. Lay it off horizontally into my last bit, like this, and then lightly go vertically. Okay. A little bit of this there. This bit. Is that the bit? So next one, I'll come back to where my first square was. Just go down the side and then work up that bottom edge, because that's wanting to set now. So I've got to keep that wet edge going. A few bits in this paint, but we're going to get some strainers over the holidays. Like that. When you're laying off, make sure that you take the excess out your brush, because you'll be putting more on again. Like that. So horizontally, and then vertically into the last piece you've done there. If I don't work into the last piece, I'll get banding, and you'll see where all the squares were. Okay, because I'm working back into the piece I've just done, I'm not going to get that banding. The banding is if the paint starts to set. So you see I'm working quite quickly here. I think you might struggle a little bit if you're near a radiator like I am. So make sure you've got adequate ventilation and it's not too hot. And bits just like bristles. Take note with the tip of your brush. That. How many coats of undercoat do you think it's going to get?
2.
Yeah. If you've got a really dark door, you could even go 3. Because your undercoat is what you use to obliterate with. Your gloss is for the sheen. And it's not got much covering power. So you use your undercoat for covering, and use the gloss for the sheen. So you see, I'm not putting it on thick. I'm putting plenty on, but then I'm spreading it about horizontally, vertically, right up to square 3, if you like. If you put too much on and don't spread it about, you'll get runs and bush marks. A few bits in this pen. Any questions while I'm doing this? No? You're all too just scared to talk on camera, is that what it is?
What's the drying time?
Oh, that's a good one. The drying time for an oil-based paint, it goes through a few stages.
Is it 16 hours?
It's about 16 hours recoatable. Yeah. Why would you use it? Why do you think? Because it's what? Oily.
What's that, sir? What was the question?
Why do we use oil-based paint on doors?
Better finish on a door than matte emulsion,
Yeah, it's better finish.
and it gives you a shine.
Yeah. And another reason we use oil-based. Anybody?
Clean it down.
No?
It's
The new
wood.
water-based paints are really good. You can clean them down.
Because it's wood.
Smart, isn't
It's what?
It's
it?
wood.
Smart.
Looks smart. Anything else? What's the main difference between oil and water, do you think? What's the main difference between the two products? Why would we have both of the products?
Don't one just feel on it or whatever.
Is that going to read us?
One just, yeah.
Longer lasting. Yeah, what you're looking for there is hard wearing. So your oil-based paints are more hard wearing. But due to obviously the levels of fumes and things and the environmental impact, that we've gone more towards water-based now. So a lot of sites have water-based, are using water-based paints. But you still will use oil-based paints. Until water-based paints get up to the standard of oil, then they'll continue to use oil-based paints. But once the water-based paint becomes better, we won't have the need for oil-based paints anymore. And they are developing them all the time, getting better and better. How many minutes we've been doing this now?
17.
17?
12. Oh, I want
Well,
to know.
Splashing a bit.
I can do it in 10.
Bit of white spirit in my brush there.
Why does off-white look pink?
Pink.
Alright.
That's green.
Right, so this last bit then, if you've got paper down, I'm not blathering the paper, okay, but I want to be able to get right down to the bottom. So that I've got the paper there. And then every single square, if you notice, I'm going back into it. So yeah, it's oil-based paint goes through a few stages. The stage it's at now is flow. Then very quickly it goes to set. Once it's starting to set, you can't do anything with it. That's why I always say don't go back over it. If you notice a mist, don't touch it. You'll do it on the next coat. So it goes flow, set, and then it goes to tack. When you touch it, it feels a little bit tacky. And then it'll go to touch dry, and then thoroughly dry.
And when it's touch dry, you can start your next one on it.
No, you have to wait till it goes thoroughly dry, because it'll feel touch dry in the same day, but it won't be dry underneath. The surface will be dry, but it won't be thoroughly dry. So you need to wait. It's probably better. You never do oil-based twice in one day.
No.
And that's why water-based paints are so good. Now, machine undercoat in the morning and gloss in the afternoon. Okay, so I have a little bit of banding here and there because of the heat, but majority of it is all flowed. It's all flowed into each other. Okay, but you must. It is a job where you don't want to be really near a radiator. I should have done it next to that. Your undercoat wants to be nice and thin, and you have to keep that wet edge going. When I come to give this door another coat, I'll lightly braid any areas that I think have just gone a little bit heavy, like that one, and then I'll give it another coat. Okay. What I'll also do is
Got to carry on as well, haven't you? You can't just go for lunch.
yeah.
You got to finish it
You've
once
got
you
to
started
finish.
the
Once
door.
you start the top, you've got to carry on to the bottom.
And it
Yeah.
calls flash
Is that all
banding.
right? Any questions? No? Anybody? No? So when you finish with this wants wiping back into the tin. And it wants wiping as clean as you can. Rita, you did a fantastic job this morning of wiping out a kettle. Getting every
So what can I say?
getting every last bit out. Then your brush needs to be scraped against the tin. Our lovely bit of artwork in the prep room. Wipe your brush on that. Get your rag that you've used, wipe the foul, and then put it back in the brush keep in the stores, but make sure you put the lid on, because it's the vapour, it's the chemical in that that keeps the pen soft. If the air gets to these brushes, they'll just dry out.
They'll rock hard, won't they?
They'll rock hard, yeah, absolutely.
Is that because of the oil in it then?
It's because of anything, any paint goes rock hard. If you don't wash any brush out or store it correctly, paint dries, as you know, on any surface. It'll just dry in your brush or your roller and they'll be ruined. We do need to really just step it up a bit on cleaning out water-based tools as well. Okay, so obviously we've got a few groups in here, but we just need to step up again. Make sure there's no paint in your brush, because if there is, you'll damage your brush. And they're not cheap, quite expensive. So, any more questions? No, we all okay? Right, so that's the end of the demo on applying undercoat to flush drawer.